Hi, I'm Katelyn Lizardi. So today I'm going to show you how to put together the flowers for your own succulent wreath. So the first one we're going to start with is this one right over here. So here you can see it's already pre-assembled, and I've added a bit of distress ink to the edge so you can kind of personalize it as you like. But I'm just going to show you the basic steps to put together your succulent. So the first thing I'm going to do is once you've already taken out the pieces from your package, then you're going to add form to them. So the easiest way to do this is just to grab a pencil or some kind of a round object and press it against your petal, and you just kind of crease like that. So that way you end up with something that has more form. Now because these are organic shapes, you want to come at it from different angles, so that way there's a variety in the movement of each of the petals. So we're just going to add form to each one of our petal shapes here. So now that all of our petals have form, we're going to go ahead and put them together. The first thing you do is you take the largest one, and I've got a glue gun here because it really helps to keep all of the petals together with the hot glue. So you put a little dab right in the center, and then you take your second largest one, and as you can see, you want to put it right in the middle there. And then you just add more glue and you start to layer up. So when you do this, you want to make sure to offset the petals so that way it looks fuller and more natural. So now that we've completed the base, we're going to move on to the center of our succulent. So what I'm going to use to put together the center is I'm going to use these Sizzix tweezers. Now these are really handy because they're not only ergonomically friendly, but they're also they work like a clamp. So the way that you open the tweezers is you squeeze and then see how the tweezers open up, and then once you let go, then it clamps down. So this is going to make the assembly of our center very easy. So I'm going to squeeze and that opens, and then we clamp down on the very center, the smallest one, and then we start to twist around. So now what we're going to do is take out our tweezers, and as you can see at the end of it you have this little base here, and what you're going to do is you're going to place your hot glue and go ahead and put a lot of glue so that way everything stays nice in place, and you just fold it over, and what you end up with is a nice base to go ahead and attach to your succulent. So we're going to put some more glue on here, and don't worry about putting too much because it's really not going to show, and that way you know that it's nicely secured into your succulent. So now you have your first succulent all complete and finished. So now I'm going to show you how to put together your next two succulents. Over here you can see the ones that we're going to be doing, and these ones are put together in exactly the same way that we did the base for our other succulent. So the only difference is the way that you contour these ones. So this one you're going to contour in a variety of different ways, just like we did the other one. And you have all of the different sizes here, and in the packaging it will give you the instructions for how many petals you put together. And over here, the difference with this one is that you contour the length of the petal. So with these, I've already done all of the contouring, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how it layers up. So you start with the largest one, we place our hot glue, and then we just start putting down our petals. And again, you want to make sure to shift it over, rotate it, so that way you have a more organic looking succulent. So now we have all of our layers together, and all you're going to do is you start scrunching it together and fluff it up. And there you go. So now we're going to get started on our fourth succulent, and that's going to be this one right over here. This is an air plant, and it's really, really easy to put together. So again, we're going to be using our tweezers, but before we do that, we're going to form our petals. So you're going to make sure to grab your pencil, and you're going to form the petals downward. So that way, when you curl it, then the petals are facing outside and not all clumped together on the inside. So now we're going to take our tweezers, you clamp around the center, and then you just start twisting around. And you want to make sure that each of your petals are facing outside and not in. Okay, so now that we've gotten to the end, we're going to again take our hot glue, go ahead and put on a lot, and then you just press it down. And now you've got the nice base. So from here, if you want, you can go ahead and go back in and kind of adjust the curl of some of the petals, so that way it looks a little more natural. And then you're all finished. Now the next two succulents I'm going to show you are our stemmed succulents, and these ones work with the wire. So over here you can see the ones that are already finished. This is the plum colored one, and then this one is the light green one. And these ones are really cool because they allow you to manipulate the shape and kind of hold its form because it has wire. So let's get started on this plum colored one. So what you're going to do first is you're going to shape each of the petals. So you're going to fold it in half here, and again I'm using my pencil, and I just kind of folded it, and then you're going to take your pencil and crease outwards. So that way it has a nice organic leaf shape. So I've already done that with the rest of the petals. And what you're going to do first is you're going to take your wire and you're going to attach it with hot glue right on the back side here. So you put a dab of glue to get it going. You place your wire, and then you're going to start spiraling around the wire. And this will cover up your wire and give it a kind of rustic look. And as you go down, you can go ahead and add more glue if you want it to keep in place. So that way it doesn't start to unravel on you. So to finish it off, I usually put some glue just to hold everything in place. And then you've got the base of your stem. So now we have 4 leaves, 2 larger ones and 2 smaller ones that we're going to attach onto our stem. So at the base of each stem there's a little slit. And what this does is allows you to go ahead and place a dab of glue on the base there, and then that fits directly right onto your stem. And you see how nicely it nests around the base. So you can kind of pick and choose exactly where you want to place your petals. And there you can see it's as simple as that. So now we're going to move on to our next stemmed succulent, and this one works very similarly to the other one. The only difference is what you're going to do is in the center of your shape is a crease line, and you're going to fold right at the crease line. So that way you end up with double the amount of petals on one side. And then you're going to take your wire again. You're going to put a dab of glue at the very top, and then you place your wire, and then you start rolling around the wire. Now to finish it off, again, I'm going to put some hot glue so that way everything stays nice in place and doesn't shift around on me. Okay, so if you notice, I didn't add any form to the petals yet. So I like to do that after I've already attached it to the wire, because then you can kind of come in and just open up your stem by just curling around whichever petals you think should come out. And then you end up with this really cool, natural looking stem of petals. So now we're going to get started on our final succulent. And over here you can see an example of it. This is a little barrel cactus in bloom. So this one's really fun. It uses kind of an origami type of technique, and it really requires just a lot of folding and bending. So this is the base shape of the cactus, and what you're going to do is you're going to just fold at each of the creases. So there's one that comes in a curve, and then one that you just fold straight across. And you'll see these little pieces that pop out. These are the little needles, and you want to make sure that these separate from your fold. So we're just going to fold at each of the crease lines. So now that we have it folded at all of the creases, what you're going to do is you're going to bring the straight edge and you're going to bring it over onto the curved crease. So you see there how it starts to make that form. And what you're going to do in order to hold it in place is you're going to take a little dab of glue and you just put a little bit right there and then you just squeeze it together. So you just start doing the same with the rest of it. Put a little dab of glue, and then you go ahead and you start twisting it around. So now that you have all of your folds glued down, what you're going to do is over here you can see this piece here is a tab, and you're going to bring it together. You're going to attach the glue, and then you're just going to wrap it around. And then you see how nicely that comes together. Okay, so we're going to put our last little bit of glue on the top part, and then you see it starting to form into our shape. So now we need to take care of the base part. And as you can see here, there's a little bit right here that folds over into itself. So in order to get that to stay, we're going to do the same thing of bringing a little bit of glue. And you want to make sure not to put too much, because if you do, it's going to squeeze out over, and you don't need that much. So you just start going around and doing the same to each edge. So now once we finish that, then we have the base of our cactus all finished. And now we're going to move on to the flower that tops it. So this one here, you can see it's got all these kind of funky shapes. It'll make sense in a second when I show you exactly how it goes together. So on these edges here, there are creases, one at a curve and one straight, just like the cactus base. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold at each of the creases. So now that we've done all of our folds, what we want to do is we're going to start with our lead petal, and that's the one on this end. So you want to make sure that these petals that aren't attached to anything are facing down and towards you, and you know you're in the right position. So you start with the first one, and with the creases, you're going to bend up and over itself. And you see how now it's starting to spiral around. And you're just going to keep doing that with the rest of the petals. So once you have all of the petals that have been folded, what you're going to do is you're going to take this end here and it just tucks right underneath and into the back side of your flower. And so then what you end up with is this double layered flower that just spirals and blooms right in front of you. So in order to finish it, what you want to do, in order to keep it secure, is you're going to take a little bit of glue. You're just going to pop it right there, and then you just press it down. And that way, it's going to be nicely in place, and it's not going to move or open up on you. So now that we have the base of our cactus and our flower, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to add some glue right here. And you just place it right on the top of your little cactus, and then you're all finished. So there you go. It's as easy as that. Now that you have all of your succulents done, you just hot glue them onto the back base of your succulent wreath, and then you have this beautiful wreath to put on display in your house that you can use year after year.